Rose. I am David Jalen Jacoby. We are Jalen Jacoby. What is it that we do?
We give the people what they want.
4 huge games in the NFL playoffs this weekend. We have a matchup of 2 of the greatest to ever do it. We have an update on the whereabouts of Kyrie Irving. Again, we have an update on the whereabouts of Kyrie Irving. But we start with a matchup of 2 of the greatest young quarterbacks in the league. Of course, I'm talking about Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. And you know who I'm rooting for? As a card-carrying member of the Bills Mafia, me and Benny the Butcher. That's right, Benny the Butcher and all of Griselda will be rooting for the Bills this weekend as the Bills Mafia comes to Orchard Park to cheer on the Bills against the Ravens. What do the Bills Mafia have to worry about in this matchup?
Shout out to our producer, Demetrius, for getting this clear. You must have actually have an ESPN show where Benny the Butcher will actually appear on it to use that. You just made me lose my train of thought. That was so dope. These guys need to focus on slowing down Lamar Jackson. I know you're excited about being a member of Bills Mafia, but that's the reigning MVP right there. And they were trailing by double figures last week. He got over that hurdle. He struggled into the playoffs and got it, and he hadn't gotten his first win in the playoffs. He got over that hurdle. Lamar Jackson, along with a couple of other names you're going to be saying on Saturday. It's almost like a Ravens Fab Five. Calais Campbell. You're going to be Lamar Jackson, Calais Campbell. You're going to be saying his name. Marcus Peters. You're going to be saying his name. Marlon Humphrey. You're going to be saying his name. And the kicker, Justin Tucker, the best in football.
Secret weapon.
You will be saying his name.
Easily. Those are really good points. Now, let me make some points for the Bills because they've got a great secondary that's going to limit the passing game when they've got White and Hyde and Poyer. However, 2 names you don't hear a lot from, Tremaine Edwards and Matt Milano. Those are linebackers that are going to need to limit this rush attack, to limit Lamar Jackson, contain him so he doesn't break those big runs. Because over the last 6 games the Ravens have won, they're averaging more than 260 yards on the ground a game. It is going to be those Bills linebackers that on defense that might not be household names. You'll be calling those names, remember, Edmonds and Milano. Not the big stars that the Ravens got on defense, but that will be the key to the Bills' defense. What are the key to the Bills' offense in this one, Mr. Rose?
Now, the Bills have a distinct advantage in a different area of this game, the passing one. In particular, with Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, who are breaking Bills records each week. And now all of a sudden, people understand, as a guy that can beat you from the pocket and on the move, how Allen has ascended to be one of the exciting quarterbacks that people feel like is a franchise one going forward. If you're able to beat Lamar Jackson in a playoff game, so very young in your career, that's going to help further a lot of that talk. Right now, I want to make sure that we continue to put respect on Lamar's name, and that's why I'm looking forward to this football game this weekend.
Let's go Bills. In my opinion, the most exciting football game of the weekend. Come on, Bills. Do it for Griselda. Do it for blue cheese. Do it for Pintos. Do it for Buffalo. Let's go, Bills. Now, that is a matchup 2 of the young, exciting quarterbacks in the league. But there's also a matchup of 2 of the oldest. Oh, I'm sorry, a matchup of the 2 oldest quarterback to ever match up in a playoff game. Of course, I'm talking about Tom Brady against Drew Brees. What is the key for the Saints to come away with the win in this matchup at home?
Heartbreak is the key. This team has been together the last few years, Jacoby. And in the playoffs, each time they went home with their heads down in their locker room and tears in their eyes. They've gone through it as a group before. They still have Drew Brees. He's back healthy. Michael Thomas, who led the league in catches last year, he's healthy. And Alvin Kamara, who just sent some cleats to the Hall of Fame because he had a 6-touchdown game this year, is healthy. They also have Cook. They also have Sanders. This team is loaded, and I think that familiarity is going to give them a distinct advantage over a team that they've already beaten twice in this football season.
In the last time they beat them 38-3, and those 3 points came at the end of the game on a field goal when they were down. And Jalen, the key for the Saints on the other side of the ball is getting pressure on the GOAT, Tom Brady. Because when you look at his numbers, pressure versus not pressured, when he is in a clean pocket, he goes from being the GOAT. Under pressure, he becomes a GOAT. Look at that, 84 QBR without pressure. 6 QBR with pressure. 6 out of whatever the top of QBR is with pressure. That is the key to the Saints getting after Tom. And if you remember in that 38-3 game, Cam Jordan got him down, and also Hendrickson got him down. Hendrickson didn't play last week, but he is now limited in practice, and he can cause a lot of problems for Tom Brady and also cause pressures that lead to interceptions. Because if you remember in that last game, Tom Brady was uncomfortable, and Hendrickson, who was limited in practice, hopefully he'll be available for the game, had a lot to do with that. Now, Jalen, I'm going to put you on the spot. In the battle of these two of the greatest to ever do it, who do you think has a better performance?
I think Drew Brees has a better performance, Jacoby, because of what you just said, the Saints' ability to make Tom Brady uncomfortable. And I don't think that Bruce Arians is going to decide to give a healthy dose of Leonard Fournette and Ronald Jones. Like, as much as we're talking about Tom Brady, Gronk is an amazing run blocker, and he's still doing a great job of catching, in particular in the red zone. If they decide that they wanted to clock kill a little more, they should try to take a version of what the Browns have made them successful all year and try to do that. And then all of a sudden, hit Evans, hit Antonio Brown. Not the other way around with a 43-year-old quarterback.
That's a really good point, Jalen Rose. I know Bruce Arians records this because he's at work when we're on, so he records us, DVRs us, listens, watches the show when he gets home, and he's going to say, you know what Jalen told me to do? Establish the run, establish Jones, who's likely to play, establish Fournette, and then go up top. That's a really good game plan from you, Coach Rose. Now moving on to an intriguing matchup, probably the most lopsided matchup in the weekend, but does have some serious upset potential. Jalen, why are the Chiefs such big favorites in this one?
Because they're in fast forward, Jacoby. Everybody else is playing at normal speed. Look at Patrick Mahomes. Is that the cheetah? Oh, yeah, that is the cheetah. That's right. What about Travis Kelce? Are they just breaking records? Most yards, most TDs, doing backflips, trying stuff. Like, they do plays now. There's so many people in the backfield. I don't even think they know who's going to end up with the ball. It's like they just trying stuff. Flip plays, guys in motion. Come on, dog. Don't pick against the Kansas City Chiefs. Don't be that guy.
I have some good news for Travis Kelce. The Browns defense is 30th in the league against tight ends. Again, 30th in the league against tight ends, and they're going up against tight end that basically broke every tight end record this year and made it look easy. But speaking of making things look easy for the Chiefs, if you've been paying attention to this show, you've seen that the Chiefs aren't exactly blowing out weak opponents leading into these playoffs and leading into that bye week. Look at that. Since week 9, their margin of victory is 1.3 points. Again, they've won by 6. They've won by 3. They've won by 3. They've won by 4. They're not blowing teams out the way you would expect a team like the Chiefs to. However, if the Browns are going to get this upset, it's going to be on the back of Chubb and Hunt. Because in the 9 games that Mahomes has lost in his entire career, the 9 games, again, he's only lost 9 times in his entire career, the opposing team has averaged 35 rushing attempts and 156 yards. That is the roadmap to an upset for the Browns, is just to run it and run it and run it, and sometimes it won't work, but to keep running it, keep running it, and keep running it, and try to keep Mahomes and the Cheetah and Kelce on the sidelines because there's no stopping this Chiefs offense. Now, Jalen, do you think there's any chance the Browns can come away with this win?
When the Browns won last week, Jacoby, that was against the Pittsburgh Steelers, right?
They spotted them 28.
Right. And I believe the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to have a new offensive coordinator, and they couldn't run the football, and they basically have a statue in Ben Roethlisberger, who I think they should actually consider moving on from. This week, they have Patrick Mahomes, the Cheetah, and Travis Kelce to deal with. I'm going with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the best team in football. There's clearly the best team in football, the Kansas City Chiefs. But salute to the Browns. We'll see if they can pull off this upset. And in the final game that we will discuss, it is basically the best defense against the best offense. That's what this all boils down to. And what do you see winning that? Who do you see winning that battle?
I hate to be the offensive coordinator killer, but who did the Rams beat last week? Seattle. And I told you they was going to change coordinators too. For the Green Bay Packers, I talked about the Saints earlier and their amazing big three. And Aaron Rodgers has a legit chance, along with Patrick Mahomes, as we all know, to win MVP. Because can we start putting some respect on Devontae Adams and Aaron Jones' name?
Yeah, we can.
I can't wait to watch two first-team All-Pro wide receiver and cornerbacks in Ramsey go at it. However, this Green Bay Packers offensive attack continues to highlight the greatness of Aaron Rodgers. I don't think the offensive attack of the Rams, and by the way, Akers did a terrific job running the football last week. But Jared Goff with a busted thumb, I just think Aaron Rodgers is going to be too much to overcome.
Well, you're going to have to rely on the defense because, as you mentioned, you got Jared Goff with a busted thumb, and then you got Blake Bortles just, coming from being out of the league to the practice squad, now being activated this week. The Rams are going to need the best defense to step up, and look at these defensive numbers that they have. Like, they are leading in most categories. They are second against opponent QBR, first in points allowed, first in yards per play, third down percentage, they are third. And Devontae Adams, you mentioned, he leads the league in yards per game and TD catches. There's only one man that can stop him. There's only one man that can stop Devontae Adams, and that is Jalen Ramsey. When Jalen Ramsey lines up against the best receiver on the other team, look at what happens. Just look at what happens. Look at what happens. However, as big of a case I made for how great this Rams defense is, I just don't see this happening. I just don't see Jared Goff and his broken thumb and Akers powering this offense to over 14 points. I just don't see it happening.
And I love what you did there. And you know the name Jalen is a superpower. And he's done a terrific job of being a lockdown corner. And Aaron Donald also has a superpower. He keeps a crisp cut, taking his helmet on and off during football games. You know I pay attention to that as well. But I don't think their offense, Jacoby, is going to be able to keep up with Aaron Rodgers in the Green Bay Packers.
I don't think so either, but I'll be watching every single second. And Jalen, we have some information that we have not had for what seems like 2 weeks now. We have an update on Kyrie Irving's playing status. You have to stay tuned to find out that. You're watching Jalen and Jacoby. Jalen and Jacoby, this is the segment where, against our best judgment, we let Jalen decide what we discuss. It is time for Keep It Moving.
Tang!
If you want to discuss the topic, say hit the brakes. If not, we will keep it moving. And we start with some update on Kyrie Irving's availability. Of course, we're going to hit the brakes on this one because we have learned that he is expected to play this Saturday after serving a 5-day quarantine and a $50,000 fee. Jalen, what does this mean for the Nets, for the fans, and for the league as a whole?
Must-see TV. Those personal reasons change when you realize you get to play basketball with the Slim Reaper and the Beard on the same basketball team with Steve Nash and Mike D'Antoni as the coaches, and they're going to walk into the locker room and put 130 on the board and expect each of those guys to get 30 every night. You think he gonna miss that? He'll be there Saturday night, my brother. You can put whatever on it. And it's gonna be great theater the entire season and in the future, watching this big three go to work in the Eastern Conference. Let's see if they can win 2 titles like LeBron's big three in Miami.
We will see about that, but it will start on Saturday. And just like every NBA fan, we're like, we got to see the Beard on the Nets. He's the same way. It's like, you know what? I got to see this. I got to get a front row seat to this. You know what I'm going to do? I was out for personal reasons. I'm coming back for personal reasons. And those are that I want to play with James Harden and Kevin Durant. Next, we have an update on the head coaching job for the Jaguars. Keep moving or hit the brakes.
Hit the brakes on this one.
As we've sort of expected for weeks now, Urban Meyer has been officially announced as the head coach for the Jaguars. What does that mean for the Jaguars moving forward next season?
Well, he's clearly an all-time great in what he's accomplished on the collegiate level, Bowling Green, winning championships at Florida and even Ohio State. I saw this guy take the Ohio State Buckeyes to an undefeated season, and they were on probation. Like, he's outstanding, Jacoby, and the Jaguars are very lucky to have him. But what they better be also getting is an accomplished quarterback whisperer to be the offensive coordinator.
Why's that?
Because Alex Smith is a seasoned veteran, and he doesn't make mistakes. But the other guy, and Tim Tebow was a Heisman Trophy winner. But Cam Newton and Joe Burrow, they needed to leave Urban Meyer in order to propel their quarterback scenario and put them in position to not only ball in college, but ball in the league. He hasn't necessarily been a whisperer for the position under center. It's going to be important to see who they hire alongside of him.
Jalen, you know I don't like to give you compliments, but that's a really good point. When you look at the list of quarterbacks that he has had, he's really only brought Alex Smith into the league under his own tutelage. Tim Tebow didn't have a great career. Cam Newton, Joe Burrow both did, but they both had to leave Urban Meyer to get into the league to play on Sunday, and all of his other quarterbacks have not had success. Hopefully he does recognize that in himself and then hire somebody to tutor. I mean, I learned from Trevor
the best
Lawrence.
like John Madden, but when you said compliment, I thought you were going to talk about my shirt.
That shirt is hideous. That shirt is hideous. You couldn't pay me $2,000 to wear that on this television program. Moving on, the Jets have hired Saleh of the 49ers. Keep moving, hit the brakes.
Fellow Michigander, I'm really happy for him. Wish he was more in the mix with the Detroit Lions. But either way, right now, it's the Jets. Keep it moving.
We keep it moving. We keep it moving.
Quietly, the Stretch Mark 5 is putting together an MVP candidacy in Denver, and he continued his MVP run against James Wiseman and the Warriors. What did you see from the Stretch Mark 5 last night?
You know how much I love the Joker, and it probably should be illegal to have a man crush on a basketball player like this. But I tell you what, anytime a center is leading the league in assists for the first time since Wilt Chamberlain in decades, but you can also show me highlights of him doing a spin move off the post and doing a backwards dunk, and then you show me the jump hook. These are fundamentals, people. This is footwork, okay? The Joker is that deal. And you might have to take the mark off of that stretch because he looked like he in shape, Jacoby. I'm just saying.
I know. I used to feel like such a kinship to him because we both look the same with our shirt off, but he's starting to surpass me and play himself into shape. I need to get out in the streets, get some jogging shoes on, and catch up to the Joker.
Put some respect on my guy's name.
The Rockets got their first win in their second game without James Harden. I think it was the first game without James Harden. I'm sorry.
Y'all
the
got
first
the nerve
James,
to put
post-James Harden. Whatever, you know what I mean. Keep moving at the break.
So y'all gonna put Christian Wood's name up there? It's like that? Y'all gonna
keep moving
do
at
that
the breaks.
Keep it moving for now, man. I'm just happy he balling.
We keep it moving.
You know how much I love LaMelo Ball. I love LaMelo Ball so much. I'm going to make you hit the brakes on this one. Look at LaMelo set up Michigander Miles Bridges for this dunk.
Flint Town, stand up. Look at that. Oh, my goodness. And you know what I just thought about?
What?
Dun, 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 dun. Please play that dunk again. As Melo Ball was driving to the middle, I thought about something that happened in 1983. The bridge is over. The bridge is over. Hey. The bridge is over. Bye-bye. Shout to the OG KRS-One.
Say bye-bye again. Take us to break with bye-bye. We'll be back right after this. Bye-bye.
With the sound called
Countdown Day, because Jalen has a fresh cut. Now, Jalen, I love your perspective and your analysis on everything in the world of sports and pop culture, but there's one thing I respect your analysis on more than anything, and that is statues, and we have some statue news. The University of South Carolina has honored one of their greatest alumni, Asia Wilson, with this statue. Your thoughts, Mr. Rose?
This is so dope, and it's well-deserved. And you know I've traveled internationally afar. and domestically and seeing some of the greatest statues that have ever been assembled, this is one of my favorites. Because just to see a sister, and as you pointed out to me, right by the fountain, so it ain't buried, and it will never get buried. Looks so angelic the way that shot is. I'm extremely impressed. Big shout to her and to them. It's well deserved.
One thing I love about your statue analysis, it's not just what the statue looks like. It's important to you where the statue is displayed. Now, Jalen, I've learned a lot from you, but there's something that I learned from you this week. We had Duncan Robinson on. We celebrated the undefeated Michigan's men's basketball team, but there's another basketball team in Ann Arbor that's undefeated. Who is that, Mr. Rose?
Ladies! See, all year, right, during football season, you clown me about the Lions. You clown me about Michigan football. But guess what? It's basketball season now. The boys, the men, undefeated. The ladies, undefeated. And they're so good, their stats are similar, except the women are beating the brakes off opponents just a little bit more. Hail to the victors.
Can't wait to wrap up all the weekend's events, the Nets, the playoff games. We'll be back Monday at 2 p.m. on ESPN.